Even your son agrees you're a disappointment. My wife laughed during family dinner. He told me he hopes he never ends up like you. My teenage son just looked down at his plate, silent. I didn't argue. The next morning I packed a bag, closed our joint account, and took back the tuition check I'd given her last week. 2 weeks later, she showed up at my new place, with our son, begging me to come home. My kitchen has always been my sanctuary. Last Sunday night I was making my signature pasta, the one dish everyone in my house actually agrees on. My son, Eric, 16, was setting the table while my wife Amanda was scrolling through her phone, laughing at something I couldn't see. "Dad, when are we going to Italy like you promised?" Eric asked, placing the silverware. "Once the Henderson project wraps up," I replied, stirring the sauce. "Maybe spring break?" I'd been putting in 60-hour weeks at the architecture firm I'd helped build from the ground up. Not glamorous enough for Amanda's taste, but it paid for the house, the cars, her master's degree, and would eventually cover Eric's college. Amanda snorted without looking up. "Your father's been saying that for 3 years. The timing hasn't been right," I said, keeping my voice even. "The firm always needs something," she cut in. "Meanwhile, life passes us by while you're hunched over blueprints." I'd heard variations of this complaint for years. Amanda had once found my dedication attractive. Now it was her favorite target. We sat down to eat. Eric was quieter than usual, pushing pasta around his plate. Midterms were coming up, and I knew he was stressed about his AP classes. "How's school going?" I asked him. Before he could answer, Amanda jumped in. "He's doing fine despite having an absent father. Got an A on that history paper you were too busy to help with." I looked at Eric. "I thought you said you didn't need help with that one?" He shrugged, eyes fixed on his plate. "He didn't want to bother you," Amanda continued, twirling pasta on her fork. "Even your son agrees you're a disappointment. He told me he hopes he never ends up like you." The kitchen went silent. I looked at Eric, whose face had drained of color. He didn't deny it, just stared at his plate, shoulders hunched. "I'm sorry you both feel that way," I said quietly, setting down my fork. "Oh, don't get all wounded," Amanda waved dismissively. "It's not like this is news to you." I finished my meal in silence, cleared my plate, and went to my home office. Closed the door, sat in the dark. It wasn't the first cutting remark, or even the 20th. But somehow, using my son against me crossed a line I couldn't uncross. More significantly, Eric's silence felt like confirmation. I spent that night reviewing our finances on my laptop. 17 years of marriage distilled into spreadsheets and account statements. Joint checking account, joint savings, my personal retirement accounts, college fund for Eric. The second mortgage we'd taken out for Amanda's degree 3 years ago, which I'd been paying myself despite our agreement to split it. The tuition check for her final semester was sitting in her purse. $14,000 I'd written the previous week.